In this second video on importing, we're actually going to do the importing part of this. I always move the images first. I recommend you move your images first to where they're supposed to be without Lightroom on. Now that they are where they're supposed to be, I'm going to start Lightroom. I have an alias file right here on my desktop, or I can open up my hard drive and double click that alias file. Either way, by double clicking your alias file, it takes Lightroom directly to the catalog file you intend. So not only is Lightroom starting up, but you are going to start it up with your catalog, your specific catalog, your one main everything directory for all of your images. This is avoiding accidentally starting a new catalog or opening up a default catalog where you don't want the images to go. Now, every time I start up Lightroom, I always take a quick glance up here at the top. Please, you take a quick glance up here at the top and make sure that up here in the middle, the top middle, it says the name of your catalog, your specific name. If you see your name over here, do not assume that it opened the correct catalog. That is simply a preset that might happen with lots of different catalogs, including default catalogs. But the one surefire way of knowing whether it's your catalog is this name in the top center in this bar. Okay, right now I have no images imported to Lightroom. What I want to show you first, if I was to plug in a memory card at this point, this is not the way I like to do it, but if I did plug in a memory card to my computer at this point, as soon as I plug that memory card in, Lightroom detects that there's a camera card plugged in, and most of the time it's going to switch over to the import panel as you see here. And this is very tempting to say, oh right, I'm going to now import my pictures using Lightroom, and I'll just hit import at the bottom left, bottom right, because I don't know what all this stuff is, and that's just going to make it easy. And wrong, wrong, wrong. That's not a good way to do it, and here's why. Because in the upper right corner, you might see that Lightroom is sending your pictures to the pictures folder of your local computer hard drive, and that's bad. There is a way to do this in which you direct those files specifically to where you want to go, but we have already moved those pictures where they're supposed to go, and that's going to make this all a lot easier. So for the moment, I'm going to hit cancel. Let's pretend we've just opened up Lightroom. We didn't plug our camera card in. We don't need to plug our camera card in because our files are already where they're supposed to be. We transferred them earlier. So this is going to be a lot easier. All I have to do is go to the import button, which is in the lower left corner. Click import. It takes me to the import panel. Over here on the left-hand side, this is our source area. And we can find our way to the images we want to import by going to our hard drive. Mine, by the way, is named Getty, named for Geddy Lee of Rush. Yours should probably be named your actual name. So I'm going to rotate open my overall drive. I'm going to find that folder with my name on it. I'm going to rotate open that folder and then rotate open camera files. And eventually I find my assignment folder right here, and that's where all of my pictures are. So that's how you can go and locate that folder where you moved your pictures earlier, and there they all are. Just another little thing I can mention is that up here in the far upper left corner, there's a little arrow, and if you click this, it will take you to previous folders that you've been to, common places that you go to. So if you're trying to find something here, you might be able to go to it very quickly. But I find it's very easy to simply, I'll just do this very quickly again, I rotate open my hard drive, I rotate open my overall photos library folder, and then rotate open camera files until I find the folder where I moved these pictures earlier. Now, you're going to import all of these pictures. It does not really matter what order they are in, but I will point out that down here at the bottom, there is a way to sort them. Right now I have them sorted in terms of capture time from the most recent to the oldest. I'm going to invert that so that I've got the most recent at the top, but it really doesn't matter. You're going to import all these pictures. A lot of times this import sorting will be off and your pictures will just be in some random order, but I like to sort it according to capture time. Now, When we look at all of these pictures and their thumbnails, and I'll make these thumbnails a little bit smaller, you'll see that each thumbnail has a little checkbox, and by default those are all on. Anything that has a checkbox is going to be imported. If for some reason one of these pictures you didn't want to import, you could go around and uncheck just that one box. If you wanted to uncheck multiple boxes, you could actually click one image, shift click another image on down the line, uncheck, and all 4 of those, or however many, will be unchecked. But remember that it's what has a checkbox that gets imported. Further, up here at the top, instead of using copy as DNG or copy or move, in this case, because we already moved our images to where they're supposed to be, we're going to import these using the add function. The add function is going to be very simple, very fast. The pictures are already where they're supposed to be. Add simply adds them now to Lightroom's catalog. If we look at the left side here, and there's not much to look at, when you use add, there's very little functionality here. This is where they're going. We don't need to change that. We don't get to change a destination. File handling, I have build previews either at minimal or standard. Standard will take a little longer to build the previews. They'll look good right away at first, but you choose whichever you want. I like to build smart previews right when I import. That'll save me time later when I'm exporting my finished assignment. And I turn on don't import suspected duplicates just in case one of these images is already in my Lightroom catalog, or maybe more than one. It will be grayed out and won't be imported a second time. Then we come down to apply during import. If you have any develop settings, you can choose them here. We'll talk about develop settings perhaps in future videos. And I have a develop setting for a particular camera and lens that I use that will apply some corrections, but you may not have any develop settings yet. Then we also have metadata. This is a great place where you can add copyright information to your images. So I'm going to click New, and I will create a new copyright metadata set. And here we see this, I'm going to say up at the top, preset name. I'm going to name this my last name and copyright. Then I'm going to come down to this section that starts with IPTC copyright. And under copyright, I'm going to put in my full legal name. You should put in yours, starting with capital letters at the beginning of each name. This is legalistic stuff. So full name with capital letters at the beginning. Copyright status, I'm going to say these are copyrighted. Rights usage terms, I'm going to type in all rights reserved, which kind of means that people can't do anything with my images without my permission on a legal level. Copyright info URL. I do not have a URL that would take anybody to like the US Copyright Office. I'm going to leave this blank. However, I am going to go down to this next section, IPTC Creator, and I'm going to list my same full legal name under the Creator field as the creator of the images. I don't put in my address, city, all of this kind of stuff. I don't want that harvested by bots. I don't put in my email, but I will list, and you can list if you have a website. So I'm going to list this in full with the https://www.christopherschneeberger.com. Okay, and I'm going to click Create. Now I will see that that is one of the presets under my metadata pop-out menu. So I'm going to turn that on, and that copyright information will be embedded into my files when I import. I can always embed it later if I forget to do it here. And keywords, I can add any keywords. Just keep in mind that any keywords you add here will be applied to all of your pictures. So I won't add things very specific to individual images like manhole cover or tree or something like that, but I will add, like in this case, these are all exterior. I will add, they all happen to be shot on the campus of College of DuPage, so I'm going to type in College of DuPage. You'll notice that I separate my keywords or key phrases with a comma. And anything else I would want to add, I could add there at that point. That's enough for me right now, and now I'm going to go down to the bottom right corner down here and click Import. This import should happen pretty fast because Lightroom does not need to make new copies of the image files Those copies have already been made and they already exist where they're supposed to be. So very quickly the thumbnails begin to pop up. You may notice that in the upper left corner there are still two operations in progress. That would be Lightroom calculating the initial previews of the images and also the smart previews of the images. You do not have to wait for that process to finish before you can start looking at your pictures and editing. These images are now imported into Lightroom. I want to show you before I end this video though, if you go over to we are in the library module, I should point out, of Lightroom. If you go over here to this catalog and folders area in the left-hand panel, we are currently seeing the previous import. Now I've only made one import, so that's really the same as all photographs. But if I go to all photographs, I would see every single image I'd ever imported. If I go to previous import, I'm only seeing the most recent batch of pictures that I've imported. More importantly, down below here, there's a section called folders. And I see here, here's the name of my hard drive. And under that hard drive will be any folder where I have imported pictures. So here is my current assignment, assignment 1. And if I wanted to locate my images for assignment 1, that's where I would go, click on that. That's going to be all the pictures that I imported into that one folder. My previews are now done. If I had additional files to import, I would import them. And when I say that, I want to remind you, I would first transfer those images into the folder where they're supposed to go, and then I would import that folder. And why don't I just show you that really quickly? I have my card here. This is really easy. I'm going to go back to my hard drive and into my camera files folder to assignment 2. Let's say I have some pictures now for assignment 2. I would also open up my camera card, go to my camera folder, and I would pick these last bunch of images. Again, you could use Bridge if you want to sort through them with thumbnails, etc., but I happen to know exactly where the pictures are, which pictures I want to import. I'm now going to drag these pictures to assignment 2. They're going to copy over. And I fast forward to those being copied. I can close these windows. So those images have been copied into my hard drive. Now I'm going to open up my Lightroom catalog again, which is actually just hidden down here in the dock. And I can do a second import. I can go to the bottom left corner down here to the import button, click that. I'm going to go to this left-hand side where my source area is, rotate open my hard drive, rotate open my all catalog, all images folder, my photo library, rotate open camera files, and if I go to assignment 2, here are the pictures that I just dragged over into the assignment 2 folder. They're ready to be added. I'm going to again use the add method. Over on the right hand side, I'm going to be building smart previews. Don't import suspected duplicates. If I have a develop setting, I can turn that on. If I want to embed my copyright metadata, I can have that on. And any keywords I want to add, I can do here. I'm going to add, in this case, interior. The last ones were exterior. Let's say this is interior, comma. And if I go to add College of DuPage, because I used it previously, it automatically pops up, and all I have to do is hit tab. Okay, so those two keywords are going to be added. And I'm now going to go down to the bottom and hit import. This is going to go really fast. It's not many images. They're already located where they're supposed to be. Lightroom is basically just making a record of these files, and now it will calculate the previews. But what I want to draw your attention to is a few things. If we look in this area over to the left, you'll see that now I have 70 pictures in my all photographs. If I go to all photographs, I'll see all the pictures I've imported from assignment 1 and assignment 2. If I go to previous import, I will see just the pictures I've just imported now, just those last 12. And more importantly, down here below that area, in the folders section, I have my hard drive, and under that hard drive, I now have two different folders. One for assignment 1, that's the pictures we previously imported, and now another folder for assignment 2. So when I'm trying to locate my images for different assignments, different shoots that I've done, different subjects, they're going to be organized by the folders underneath my hard drive in this folders section. And as you build more and more of your library, more of your catalog, you will see additional folders, and that might get to be quite a long list at a certain point. But that's where you actually find your images, assignment 1, assignment 2, and so forth. And that's how you import pictures into Lightroom.